Hi, everyone. Welcome to our September Tech Bite. It is late September already. Again, kind of hard to believe. Today, we've got what I think is going to be a real cool one. We're going to be implementing Harmony email collaboration. You've probably heard. I did a session on Harmony email a long time ago. It's on the YouTube if you want to check it out. You've probably heard us say many times that this is a quick setup, right? The product communicates to your SaaS email or SaaS Office, I should say, either Office 365 or the Google Suite. It connects via API, and that makes it very quick, very efficient, and we are able to turn it on quickly. And as we're going to see, because of the speed at which we can deploy this, we actually use it as like an email assessment tool, even. Um, So the other thing to point out is that last time it was entirely slides. My bad on that. I don't like to do tons of PowerPoint on these. So this one will be entirely demo. There will be no slides today. I know that everybody's breathing a sigh of relief. Okay. So as you can see, I'm here at the Infinity portal. Um, if you don't have a login for the portal, it takes like 2 minutes to set up your tenant and also your username on it. You just come to portal.checkpoint.com, sign up, or even better, just ask me and I'll help you get started. Um, once you're on the portal, you go ahead and move on over to Harmony Email and Collaboration, which I've already done. You'll be prompted with a screen that says, like, accept the terms and conditions of using Harmony Email. There's a link to read them. You just click the checkbox and hit OK. And very quickly, it brings you to this screen here, right? Welcome to Checkpoint. Um, we're going to go ahead and get started, right? So once we click Get Started, it shows us the various SaaS tools and platforms that Harmony Email can connect to, right? And for today's demonstration, we're going to hook up Office 365 Mail, right? Now, when you click Start, there is a manual mode that you can do. I highly recommend against it. Very few people ever do the manual. The automatic does pretty much all the work. You do have to click Accept. I have definitely sat at this screen and hit OK, and nothing happens. And I say, what's the matter? You have to click Accept the terms of service. Oh, and then the other thing happens is Google likes to block the pop-up. So we have to allow the pop-ups. You could either allow it once or allow it many times. Restart that. Okay. Now, all you got to do once you hit start is go ahead and sign into your global admin account for your Microsoft Office 365 or Google, as it were. It asks for all these permissions. They're pretty standard. It doesn't use most of these. If you have it in detect mode, it really just does all the read stuff. You could read it. So, I mean, you could drop down each of these and read about what it's going to do. Also in the admin guide, that you don't have to be at this point with me staring over your shoulder. You can go ahead and read this same list. It's right in the admin guide, so you can know what it is. We click accept. And that should be it. That's it. That's how fast it takes to implement Harmony Email on Microsoft Office. I will say that I did cheat a little bit. You see, it's all set. I did cheat a little bit. I logged into um, Office 365 before this session. You don't have to log in before. You could go ahead and log in your credentials in that pop-up window that popped up. But as you see, it was about 4 steps. And here we go. So now it is connected. It shows you that it is connected to Office 365 email. Um, what it's doing right now, and we're not gonna sit and wait for it. You see, it's scanning for my number of users I have. It's scanning the emails. It's actually going back and looking at the emails that exist on Exchange Online, and it's learning about what's in there. It's looking for phishing. It's looking for malware. It's looking for all these other things, right? Um, the other thing that I'll show you, this is very important to understand, is that out of the box, it comes with a default threat prevention rule, which we could dig into in a second. But important thing, it is in detect mode. It starts in detect mode. This is for us to use it in a POC or in a assessment type scenario where we do not interfere with anything your email is doing, right? We don't want to interfere at this juncture. We want to just show you what the product can do and show you what sort of things, phishing or spam or otherwise, are getting behind your current email filter system. Um, you can, of course, flip this to prevent, but as it sits, remember that we're not going to stop anything. So if we see the nastiest, worst phishing email in the world, we're going to say, oh, that was a real bad one, and then let it on by. So just keep that in mind that we're detecting in this mode. Of course, if we wanted to flip to prevent, it's literally click on the policy. I mean, you probably should review what's in the policy, but you flip the policy on, literally hit prevent and save at the bottom. And that's it. It goes to prevent. It's that easy. Um, the other thing we could do in a POC or in an assessment type situation is we could add a DLP policy if you wanted to check that out, right? So we have DLP on the product. We also have click time protection, which is our way of helping protect users when they do get a link. You know, it actually looks at the link no matter what it is once it's through. But yeah, we could do a DLP policy, right? And we could test that out in a detect mode or in a prevent mode. Um, as you can see, there's a whole bunch of categories around DLP, right? And you can also, including a lot of compliance standards, and you can get very specific on how many, right? Like, do we want to allow them to send one credit card, but not more than two, right? As an example, or do we not want any at all, right? Which is zero. Um, so we can do that too, right? You do have to add users. So I'm going to go ahead and use everybody. Why not? And there you go. Now we got two rules running to detect. So that's literally how easy it is to set up a POC or a assessment of your email security. Because again, this sits plugged into Microsoft's platform, so it's behind your email gateway. Um, it was what, 4 or 5 clicks to get this started, so it's fast. We could even go ahead and add another service, right? So we can go back, right? We see that Office 365 mail is running. But let's say we want to work on, I believe I have Teams and SharePoint running in this environment. So let's see. So let's say that we want to scan SharePoint, right? We can click SharePoint. We get prompted with the same login. We get prompted with the same requested permissions, give or take. This one has a few less because it's it's SharePoint has a few different. It's a different tool, right? Click accept. And there you go. SharePoint's been added. We could add Teams because I believe I have Teams running in my environment. Again, log in with your credentials. It gives you those permissions. You click accept. And there we go. So now we have three different tools running. It's checking again. It's scanning right now. Right. It's already figured out how many users I have. It's going to start getting how many emails I have. This process can take a while if you have a lot of users, a lot of emails. I would say that you shouldn't expect this scanning to be done uh, probably within, I would say, a day or two. I would try to be cautious and say 48 hours it's going to take. It probably is less. It usually is less, but it could be up to 48 hours. Again, comes right out of the gate with policies for SharePoint and Teams that we added. And you see that SharePoint's in detect. Teams is actually in detect and remediate. So if it catches it, if it catches them using like a DLP thing, like it put the credit card number in there, for example, it's going to pull it back out, and it actually pops up with a notice in the senders and receivers teams when they get it. Any questions so far? Because we've, as you see, we've done a lot in a short period of time. So I'm gonna check the chat. I don't see anything in the chat. Don't see any hands raised. Don't see anything Q&A. But if you have any questions, go right ahead. And if not, I had I envisioned those cooking shows like Martha Stewart where she shows you how to put all the ingredients into the cake and then stick it in the oven. And when she goes in the oven, there's a fully baked cake in there. So I want to show you real quick that same overview that we saw, right? But in this one, you're going to see that there's data in it. So just give me a second as we spin over to other environment. Here it comes. Okay. So once you get scanned and that 48-hour scan happens, or 24, whatever it takes, your dashboard is going to look more like this. Hopefully not. Yes, thank you very much. Hopefully not as many, because this is actually like a lab environment that we've been sending malware and bad links to. But you see right here, it'll show you that you have phishing events. It'll show pending things that require your attention, right? Malware. It can show DLP events, and you can dig in as you need. I think actually maybe next month we'll do a new fresh demo of Harmony email, because it's been like 2 years since I did the previous TechByte. But as you can see, a lot of data in here, a lot of things to look at, and it'll show you again all your number of users, all the total emails it found, the total files it found on OneDrive. I guess it's still scanning this SharePoint. How many things it's seen in Teams so far. So that's that's what you're going to see after a little bit, and it's going to help you to understand what's getting behind your email gateway, as well as any of these other SaaS apps that you are using, which could include not just Microsoft stuff, Google's Gmail and Drive. We could also do Dropbox and Box and Citrix ShareFile and Slack. So yeah, any questions on that? Because that's about all I wanted to show you. It was the implementation was so quick that it actually made my TechByte pretty short. Okay, I see one question. I see one question. How long does it take to set yourself up on a, well, the question is I don't have a Harmony or a Checkpoint Infinity portal, right? This customer must probably just has our firewalls on-prem, for example, or something else. That's no sweat. There's no problem. To set up a tenant on the Infinity portal will take you like 5 minutes between setting up the environment and also making yourself a user email. Like it literally just asks you to sign up, and then it sends you the email. Click here and set up your password. Again, if you have the Infinity portal, or once you have signed up, and also if you want to sign up for it and you have any sort of hesitation or whatever, reach out to me. I'll help you. I'll get the tenant set up, and all you got to do is set up your username and password. Once you're in here, literally you click on this little dial pad here at the top, and navigate on over to Harmony Email and Collaboration. Good question. I think I see another question. Is there a way to set up good question. So the question is there a way to set up a whitelist or a blacklist manually? And the answer is yes, absolutely. So look at that, an update for Zoom. Please don't stop my Zoom while I'm on it. um, so yes, there is certainly a way to whitelist and blacklist. You can do it based on a couple things. You can whitelist and blacklist based on, well, first off, you can actually pick which users you want to apply this to, right? So if you have a, a certain group of users, like there's a group here, right? And then there's also specific users in this, thing. You can actually pick which users this even applies to, or you could exclude a user, right? You can also blacklist, senders and domains, right? So like if you have a company that's phishing you, you literally can come in here and create a rule to go ahead and block a specific domain, a specific sender, right? So sender email contains fisher at fish.com, right? And then we can literally block that once we save this. It's that easy. We could also do an allow list, right? So if anti-phishing keeps saying somebody's phishing you and for whatever reason it's not, or perhaps you use something like no before and you test your users and this picks up on that phishing, you can allow their domains in here. We also do the same with anti-malware. If you want to allow someone to send you malware, maybe you're performing some kind of assessment or test or something, you can go ahead and put that user in here. And you could do it again, as you saw, you can do it by this one's by file, but you can see that like in the phishing one, you can do a lot of different methods of filtering that person, right? Good questions, guys. Any other ones? Oh, one more. So the question, which might be the obvious question, good question though. How is this licensed? So this is licensed per user, right? Um, we license this per user that you have. Now, what happens in most companies is, let's say you have 100 users, you probably have 125 or so email addresses, right? You got some printers that have email addresses. You have some email aliases that many people are on, that sort of thing. We don't charge you for those guys. It's per user. So if you have 100 users, you're going to get a 100 user license. End of story. Good question. Gonna wait another minute or two in case we have any other questions. Also checking the chat too. If not, I definitely appreciate you guys hopping on and taking your time. I hope this was informative. I hope that you'll consider checking out Harmony Email. Again, we tend to put it in because of how fast that went. We tend to put it in to a customer's environment as almost like an assessment, right? Let's see how your Proofpoint, Mimecast, Barracuda, the native Office tools, the native Google tools, whatever you're using. Let's go ahead and see if it's catching stuff, and maybe it is. Maybe we put this on and we catch absolutely nothing. That would be a great scenario, right? That means your email security posture is tight. But I will tell you, speaking from the experience of quite a few POCs and assessments, we pretty much always catch some stuff, and sometimes it's a lot of stuff. So, but yeah, thank you so much for hopping on. I really do appreciate it. And if you guys have any questions, or I'm going to hang for another minute or two, if you have any questions that you think of later, feel free to shoot me an email. And of course, I'll make this recording available soon. Thank you very much. Have a great day, guys. Oh, wait, one more question. Oh, thank you. Yes, absolutely. You're quite welcome, and thank you for taking the time to join.